The Australian summer of cricket is finished and Australia prepares for a World Test Championship final against South Africa later in the year. But one thing I'm looking forward to is a brand new cricket game, Cricket 26. And much like every release has come at the same time as an Ashes series, well, the last one was a little bit late, Cricket 26 will definitely be coming this year. We even got an early tease off the hashtag Cricket26 from Big Ant CEO Ross Simons at the conclusion of the Border Gavaskar Trophy. So there's plenty of things people want to see in the next game, but here are 10 things that I'm hoping to see in Cricket 26. Number 1, Manager Mode. Career mode is the best part of these cricket games, but it does lack the ability to play as a single international team and take them to all sorts of world glory. There's enough of the licensed teams in world cricket now in the game. I'm talking Australia, England, New Zealand, Pakistan is in there as well. And given the IPL is also there, you've got pretty much the best players in the world across all countries involved. So with a manager mode, I'm thinking things like team selection, scouting the state teams for who might be available, and trying to build the next generation of talent would be the keys. These are the elements you can kind of do in the current career mode when you're the captain, but it really does lack a bit more depth to it. I mean, how good would it be to use the Australian team or England or India or whichever country you're choosing and hold every single cricket title possible? I mean, the Australian team are doing it right now, and even the World Cups. Number 2 is career mode storylines. Career mode is the best part of these cricket games, but with the last 3 games having almost identical career mode, it does feel something that needs to make it feel a bit fresh. Rather than just playing series after series, it would be great to have something else driving you in your career. And much like I said about the manager mode, for your individual career, it would be great to get prompt with messages from fans, teammates, coaches, or the media as well to push you along in your own career story. As well as expanding on some of the previous cutscenes that we've had in Cricket 22, was the most cutscenes we had in a game, but a bit more than just to give some sort of overall storyline as you rise through the ranks, and even as you win trophy after trophy for your country. Of course, we're not expecting NBA 2K levels of theatre, but something that gives it a bit of a fresh vibe will keep enough of those loyal players reinvested. Number 3, the World Test Championship in career mode. Now, we already have the One Day and T20 World Cups in career mode at the moment. Not that they were working for my career mode or at the launch, but adding in a World Test Championship gives you another thing to play for. I think, as we said, obviously playing series after series, you want them all to mean something rather than just being there. If it is building towards a World Test Championship, then it gives you the incentive for something that is a 2-year cycle of your career mode to build and play towards. So we'd love to see the World Test Championship added. Number 4, another career mode thing, a trophy cabinet. And just on obviously having the World Test Championship in there, you want to have a trophy cabinet in your career mode, or at least something that's showing you the progress that you have already completed through your career mode. Not every trophy has to have the licensed name, like the Border Gavaskar Trophy or the Warren Muralitharan Trophy. But if it is just, Australia v Sri Lanka Test Trophy, it would be good to just say you can track the progress of what you have won and you haven't won in your career. As I said, the career has felt a bit stale over the last couple of games, and we need something to make it feel like it is a bit different and there is something that we're working towards. So I think a trophy cabinet would also help build that out and flesh out what you can achieve. Number 5, more shots, more individual bowling styles and celebrations. This one's a bit of a broad one, but we'd obviously love to see, the focus of this game be some real in-depth likenesses, especially for this upcoming Ashes series. If the 3 major teams in the world are Australia, England and India, and only 2 of those are licensed in the game, let's really try to maximize the realism of each individual in those teams as much as possible. Whether it's Sam Constas' trademark ramp, Travis Head's, Adelaide Oval 100 celebration with the bat in the helmet, Usman Khawaja's little fist pump when he gets to the 100 in the turf kiss, or Alex Carey's sweep. I'm sure a lot of the English players have some things that, they're very familiar with. I'm sure Joe Root has a celebration as well, or their signature shots that they also pull off. So just those types of things. We've already got that for a lot of the players already, but would love to see a few more just to add a bit more realism. Number 6, better AI decision making. Now, for me, this is really more focusing on game scenarios, particularly in test matches, because we've all watched games in our career where the opposition or your own team needs 10 off 3 and they just leave the next ball rather than trying to play the big shot to win the game. Giving the AI controlled sides better match awareness would only add to the realism and pressure of playing in those tight games. I mean, I played a test match in my career where England were like 1 wicket down and they needed 20 off the last 18 balls, only to survive for a draw on day 5 because they weren't willing to go for the win and didn't have the understanding of that game situation. I had a similar thing happen in the series against India, where they were just 7 runs short of an almighty day 5 chase, ending in a draw, again, just 4 or 5 wickets down. So giving the AI a bit more match awareness would really improve, especially those tight day 5 tussles in Cricket 26. Number 7, fielding. This seems to be the pattern almost every time, and I'm sure it is one of the last things that is looked at because it is not a significant issue in the game. But the fielding has long been the most glaringly obvious issue in Big Ant's cricket games. Whether it was the superhuman fielders from Bradman 14 all the way to Cricket 19, whether it was the lack of ability to stop the ball if it had bounced, half a metre in the air towards the boundary. There's certainly been a lot of improvements, and while Cricket 24 did have arguably the best fielding that we have seen throughout, there were still some real issues. Obviously, yes, we did have the diving on the boundary rope, and there was much less of the super speedy catches, but there are still too many direct hits from fielders in the deep. And I think the biggest issue at the moment is which fielder's actually going for the ball. At the moment, sort of 2 fielders go for it, and then one decides, oh, he's actually too far away now. And by the time the other guy decides to go for it, the ball goes to the boundary. It's a bit weird, but it happens. So, if you can fix that, be great. Number 8, scenario mode. For those who have been following my now 350 plus attempts to recreate Glenn Maxwell's 201 not out against Afghanistan in that 2019 World Cup, would know that I would love to see this again make a return. And while its initial implementation in Cricket 19 had plenty of bugs in it, making it hard to share and download scenarios online, I think a bug-free version in Cricket 26 would feel fresh, given its non-inclusion in the past 2 games. It would be great if they use the upcoming Ashes series as a starting point for the mode, allowing players to jump into the matches as they happen at key points of the test, and really building on that mode as a licensed mode. The last time we successfully saw that was in Cricket 07, where you could play through moments from that 2005 famous Ashes series. It played a little clip, and then you were able to jump in and play the remainder of the test from whichever point it would start you at. I think this would be the perfect time to add this in to the new cricket game. Obviously, in the 2023 Ashes series in England, it was an incredible series, a 2-2 result. You could put it in at Australia's chase at day 5 in that last test and see, can they make the chase? There are plenty of times you can sort of jump into the games as we go through it, but I think this would be a great way to make its return into Cricket 26. And then, of course, as the series is unfolding in front of us in 2025-26, you can use scenarios that are happening as the games play out here in Australia. Number 9, more custom competition variables. This is not really a good way to explain this, but we only need a couple of things for this. So obviously at the moment, there's no real way to play the One Day World Cup, T20 World Cup, Champions Trophy formats unless they are automatically built into the game. We almost need another competition-like structure in the comp builder to be able to make these tournaments ourselves. And it would basically just be to make a custom comp with multiple groups. I think the way to do that is because I think at the moment you can do a World Cup with custom teams, but it will only use the most recent World Cup as a guide as to how that's going to play out. Whereas if you gave us the ability to make a tournament style fixture that included multiple groups before sort of a 3-phase tournament, like if you've got group stage, knockout stage, or group stage, second group stage, maybe that would be great. Especially given the upcoming T20 World Cup is going to have, 5 groups or 4 groups of 5 in it. So it is going to be very difficult to, make that in-game. You have to make 5 individual competitions, and the same thing with the Champions Trophy, where you have to make 2 individual competitions of the group stages, and you won't be able to do your knockouts until you sort of make a 3rd competition there. So this would be good to be able to natively make those in-game, so that way people can be playing what's happening in the real world as it is unfolding. It's not a must-have in the game, but something that's nice to have. And then number 10 is the big one, Pro Team. Now, for me, this is quite low on my list, but I know a lot of people want to see Pro Team in the next cricket game. This was originally supposed to make an appearance in Cricket 24 based off the original press release, and it was quickly scrapped upon the first delay of the game. Now, while it's still making an appearance in Cricket 24, there's plenty of time for it to happen, it's probably more likely to debut in Cricket 26. But against other 2023 release, AFL 23 has shown us how this will likely work by collecting player cards with a mix of online and offline modes, earning from in-game currency, or paying with your real money. With the addition of many IPL licensed teams in Cricket 24, majority of the world's best players are in the game, including from India and every other nation. It means you can assemble an absolute super team or a world 11 of your choice if you are playing Pro Team. But I think the biggest caveat here is that given these cricket games are best played in the offline format, I think this would work best using your team to play lots of different online modes and completing different scenarios, much like we saw in Cricket 19's Test the Best mode, where basically you had a few challenges every week that you could try to complete and beat. It would randomize the teams, would randomize the challenge, and you would have to give it your best chance. Doing that with your custom team, I think would be really cool to do. And we've also seen in AFL 23 the sort of ladder leaders mode, where you might see something similar, where you're trying to beat all the different nations in the world to earn your cards and things like that. So I think there's a few ways they can go about this. But Pro Team, if it's going to be in it, it has to be good as an offline mode. Last one here, this is a bonus one. I want to see more rain. I want to see dynamic weather. And the reason I want to see that is obviously in Cricket 19 actually was probably the last time we could do this. There's actually a setting where you could make sure that the game was going to rain and probably be a reduced match. You can even change the temperature of how things were and the clouds as well. I don't know whether they come back into the game or if it's something that is just, completely been scrapped, but we'd love to see those additions back into the game, especially, if you're playing a test in England, it's probably going to last the full 5 days because it's going to rain. And I think the challenge of having reduced matches based on the weather conditions is something that would be really good to have. It doesn't have to rain every time, and you could be able to turn it off, but just give me a bit more dynamic weather. But that's it, everyone. That is 10 things I would like to see in Cricket 26. Let me know what you want to see in Cricket 26 down in the comments below. But thanks for watching today. I will see you all next time. Goodbye.